Today we are going to discuss the femoral triangle. Femoral triangle is a triangular depression on the upper medial part of the thigh. Before discussing the femoral triangle, we will see the different structures which I have drawn over here. This is the sacrum. This here is the right hip bone. This is the femur. And this is the tibia, and you can see the upper part of fibula attached to the femur. So basically you are looking at the anterior part of the right thigh. Now let's try to identify the muscles which you can see in this diagram. This is the psoas major muscle which is coming from the lumbar vertebrae, which I have not drawn here. This is the iliacus muscle coming from the iliac fossa, and both these muscles combine to form the combined iliopsoas tendon, which goes and gets inserted into the lesser trochanter of the femur, which is somewhere over here. This is the superior surface of the superior ramus of pubis, and the green muscle is the pectineus muscle, which is coming from the pecten pubis and the pectineal surface of the superior ramus of pubis, and it goes to get its attachment on the posterior part of the femur. This red muscle is the adductor longus muscle, which is arising from the angle between the pubic crest and the pubic symphysis, and this muscle goes back and gets attached to the linea aspera of the femur. This blue muscle is the adductor magnus. This brown muscle is the sartorius muscle, which starts from the anterior superior iliac spine, runs downwards and gets attached to the supramedial part of the tibia. This green muscle is the vastus intermedius muscle, which is attached to the anterior and the lateral part of the femur, and it also gets its attachment on the lateral lip of linea aspera. This orange muscle is the vastus medialis muscle, which is taking its origin from the lower part of intertrochantaric line, and its rest of the attachment moves backwards onto the spiral line and to the medial lip of the linea aspera up to the medial supracondylar line. So these are the muscles. Now let's see where the femoral triangle is. The femoral triangle is bounded on its medial side by the medial border of the adductor longus. This red muscle is the adductor longus, and the medial border of the adductor longus is this one. On the lateral aspect, it is bounded by the medial border of the sartorius. This is the sartorius muscle, and this is the medial border of the sartorius muscle. The base of the femoral triangle is formed by the inguinal ligament. This blue line is the inguinal ligament, which is starting from the anterior superior iliac spine, and it ends at the pubic tubercle. And remember, this is not a true ligament. This is basically the lower interned portion of the aponeurosis of external oblique muscle. So the boundaries which you can see are the medial border of the adductor longus, medial border of the sartorius, and its base is formed by the inguinal ligament. The apex is formed where the two boundaries, the lateral and medial boundaries, meet. So where the medial border of sartorius and the medial border of adductor longus meet, this point is the apex of the femoral triangle. Now coming to the floor of the femoral triangle, the floor of the femoral triangle is formed from medial to the lateral side by the adductor longus muscle. Then comes the pectineus muscle. Then is the psoas major, and then comes the iliacus muscle. So this is the floor of the femoral triangle. From medial to lateral side, I will repeat, this is the adductor longus, then comes the pectineus, then comes the psoas major muscle, and then comes the iliacus muscle. So these were the boundaries, and then all this structure is covered by a roof. So the roof is formed by the skin, the superficial fascia, and the deep fascia, which is also called the fascia lata. Now if we look in this diagram, this is the sartorius. The inguinal ligament is over here. This muscle is the adductor longus muscle. This is the pectineus. This is the psoas major, and this is the iliacus muscle. This small muscle which is hidden behind the adductor longus is the adductor magnus, and this is the gracilis. So let's see the boundaries again. The medial boundary is formed by the medial border of adductor longus. The lateral boundary is formed by the medial border of the sartorius muscle. The base is formed by the inguinal ligament, and the apex is formed where the lateral and medial boundaries meet. So where the medial border of the adductor longus and the medial border of sartorius meet, this will be the apex of the femoral triangle. The floor is formed from medial to the lateral side by the adductor longus, the pectineus, the psoas major, and the iliacus muscles. And all of this is covered by the fascia lata, over which will be the superficial fascia, and over that will be the skin. Now coming to the contents of the femoral triangle, we will once again see the parts of the femoral triangle. This is the adductor longus muscle, this is the sartorius, and this is the inguinal ligament. So this is the triangle. And the contents are the femoral artery with its branches, the femoral vein and its tributaries, and the femoral nerve and its branches. So these are the contents of the femoral triangle.